Hi, this is Lori. Welcome to Campground Adventures and Travel Explorations. We are staying at Holly Bay Campground in London, Kentucky for a couple of nights, and I was just going to show you around the campground. This is the fire circle, and also a good spot to get a little bit of internet data, because I will say the data is pretty spotty here, but this is kind of up on a hill, so I was able to check my email for a minute. This is the campfire circle. There are bathhouses in every loop. This one is on A, which is the main road, and then you have all these offshoots of different circles. We're right now close to the E loop, which is a small loop. Pretty nice. All of the campsites are pretty large and spaced out and wooded, shaded, lots of shade, so that's nice. And they all are surrounded by water. Some have better access than others. Now we're going to go into the D loop and check that out. I'm walking, so I probably won't go through every section of the campground, but we'll give it a little looks over and see how things are. So this is D1, and this site does not face the water. It's just backs up to the wooded area. Probably not the site that I would pick. Here's D2, also facing the woods, not the water, but it's a little more shaded. I would definitely get a water site if they were available. You have little pathways to the lake that run beside several of the sites if you don't have a pathway directly from your site, which makes it nice and convenient to get down there. It's not too far to get down there. Some access is easier than others depending on where you're staying. Now here's site D5. This looks like a really nice one with beautiful lake views. I'm going to walk in here. So you have a flat area, and then there are some steps that go down here to a picnic table that overlook the lake. Now D5, I would say, is a beautiful view if you just kind of want to have a nice, pretty view of the lake. There are steps that go down to access, but it is a little bit steep. We're staying over in F6, and I think our access to the lake is easier. I'll show you that one later. This is D7, and this is an example of a double site where if you're camping with a group or a large family, you have a little bit more room. And all the sites have electric and water hookup. There's no sewer except for, I think, on some of the host sites, which are called premium sites. All of the loops are one way in and one way out, which makes it nice for not having to meet other RVs while you're trying to get in and out of your loop. A, which is the main road, is a two-way, but the loops are one direction in and one direction out. So now I'm back on the main road, which is A, and I'll show you an example of a site on A. So here's A9 just right off the main road, and that's what that site looks like. Backs up to the D loop over there, not to the water, just a wooded view, which is nice, but my preference would probably not be to stay right off the main road. So now I'm in C loop, and C is for tent camping only. These are nice wooded sites. Here's an example of what C loop looks like. And I did see that there was some water access right by the parking area. So you can park your cars here and then walk down to your tent site. I see there's like a water spigot somewhere over in that area. And you have a nice flat space to set up your tent and picnic table and fire ring and plenty of lantern type hooks to put things on. I don't see any water on this site, but the water is not far, just over in the close parking area. Then you have these nice boxes to keep your food out, bear boxes. As if you are tent camping, you definitely want to secure your food so the animals, critters, bears don't get into it. And then here's the lake view from Seaside where the tents are. There is a path that looks like it's down to the lake, a little bit steep and further than other sites, but other loops. But it looks like you can get down there. This is an example of a campground host site. They all have the American flags and a sign, and the hosts are the only ones who are allowed to have golf carts here. But everybody that I've run into has been really nice and helpful. I'm going to walk down B loop and see what that looks like. Okay, there's parking places there. It looks like B loop is also for tent camping, so B and C are tent camping sites. So this path leads to the B tent sites. I'm not going to walk down there. It's pretty humid and I'm starting to get a little tired and hot and sweaty. But anyway, there's the water spigot right there. And then you have access to the bathhouse right conveniently close. And then we're just right back up here on the main road on A. So we're going to make our way back. We'll take a quick walk through E loop before we make it back to F loop where I'm staying, just to give you a sense of what it looks like. Here is E1. It's not a double site, but it is a little bit larger where it has a step down to the picnic table, backs up to a wooded area. E is a fairly small loop, I think 7 sites in E. Most of the loops are fairly small. They don't have a whole lot of neighbors, which is nice for some privacy and spacing out. Here is E6. You get a slight view of the lake and the marina, which is back there. So here is F loop where I'm staying with my family. If you continue on down A loop, you will make your way down to the boat launch area. And here's a shot of the bathhouses in F loop. They all look the same. And we're going to make our way down. Looks like there's a total of 12 sites in the F loop, and this is F12. F3 is a double site. More of a wooded view, although the lake is just off to the side. And F loop basically backs up to the marina and the big houseboats. And this is us. We are in F6, which has a really good access to the lake, and I'll take you down there. So we have a nice walking path trail to the lake, which I will show you. Here's the path, making our way down. And we're almost down here to the water. I will mention that off these paths there is another trail. I'm not sure which trail it is, but it goes a long way. It almost seems like it goes all the way around the lake if you wanted to try it. I'm not 100% sure, but I did walk probably a half a mile or so yesterday, and it still had a long ways to go. And here's my dog Prissy. Apparently she wants to show you the lake as well. So here we are. We're on F loop, which backs up to the houseboats. But you can swim right back here. There's no restrictions. And we did yesterday and plan to today. And right over here is the marina, which I would love to go to, but even though it is right here, it is a very long walk to get to. It would be easier to swim to it, but you're not allowed to swim right up to the dock area. So I might not get to see that, but it looks like they might rent some kayaks over there. Anyway, this water is going to be really refreshing after walking through the campground. It's very humid today. It rained all last night, and so it's very humid. So that water is going to feel refreshing. And then you just make your way right back up the path to the campground. There is some poison ivy along these trails, so if you have kids or pets, you might want to make sure that they stay out of that. And then here's the path going the other way. Just a few sites down, there's an area that looks kind of like a nice cove that you could swim in, that's if you don't want to swim by the houseboats. And then there's our campsite. I think this is a very nice campground. It kind of reminds me of what traditional camping is supposed to be. Wooded sites that are spread out, lots of shade. Not a lot of activities here, just nature. You have the lake and some trails and just kind of unwinding, which I think we all can use that. As I said, the Wi-Fi is not very great except for when I walked up on the hill, and that's okay. Read a book, relax, enjoy a campfire, get back to nature. Happy camping!